SledTalk listeners, welcome back to the SledTalk podcast. We are coming to you guys from HayDays, somewhere in Minnesota. We're filming podcasts here at the Albany Lodge booth in the vendor section. Austin Reitsma, previous podcast guest, invited us to come set up here and has been teeing up a bunch of guests to come on the show. And so I just want to jump on and shoot a little intro that we're going to put over top every single episode. And we're super excited to be here. Can't wait to get started, shake hands. This is HayDays. This is our first time here, and tons of people, tons of stuff going on, tons of sleds everywhere. Super excited. Can't wait to start jumping into a bunch of episodes here. So without further ado, let's jump in.
Let the band play.
100K on the Protect, living life with no regrets. I can't designer when I get dressed. Hey. Summertime on winter fresh. I put her legs behind her head. Night she gone to bed. Bye. Every day it's a new test. I just keep chasing these checks. Living life with no regrets. Living life with no regrets. Living life with no regrets. Living life with no regrets.
Is that a yes? Sorry. Okay.
Just jump right into it.
Heck yeah! Here we go. The next episode, and returning podcast guest, Mr. Austin himself. How are you, my guy?
I'm good. I'm stoked to be out here. Stoked to be back on the podcast.
Heck yeah, I'm glad to have you. So you were on when was that we filmed in Sandpoint? That was February? Is that the beginning of February?
It all blurs together.
Yeah.
Long season.
Yeah. Well, glad to have you back on. That was a fun episode. We were joined by Avery White and Jacob Levine.
Yeah,
that was a good episode. And then, actually, let's just go right into this because I've been curious. So, was it that same trip shortly after we left that you had a little whoopsie and hurt yourself, or what?
I think it was right after the podcast where we kind of discussed not caring about damage to the sled, just kind of caring about your body and preserving that.
I remember you saying that.
The very next day, within the first half hour of riding, I snapped my finger. So it's a gnarly little break. So it came through the joint.
Oh my god!
And then split that middle bone into 3 pieces.
I remember seeing the X-rays on your stories.
Yeah, so that was a bummer. I don't get very many trips with guiding. I'm usually pretty busy throughout the season. So we were stoked to get up to Idaho and ride with Sled USA and all those other guys.
The boys.
Good group of dudes, and got going that second day. Just started to get into some cool terrain. And had the boost all wound up, came wheeling over this little hill, and then there's a little bit of a valley. Front end dropped down, and I was going to side hill around that next little bump or hill, and as soon as my front end came down, it just stopped and punched a log that was probably about 14 inches around, 12 inches around. Just stopped me, and it just happened so fast. I had so much adrenaline from riding that I didn't even think about it. I mean, it's scorpioned me. Probably the best scorpion you've ever seen. It was
well executed, huh?
Somebody should have gotten a photo of that because, like you said, well executed. That's a good way to put it.
Of course, the GoPro wasn't on, I'm sure, no?
No GoPro. No, it was too early in the ride. I hadn't popped it on yet. So, punched that log, and I don't know if my finger just got caught or if it slammed down into the hood. But I took my helmet off. Might have had a little moment. Might have been the first helmet throw I've ever had.
Really? Oh, man.
I was pretty mad.
Yeah, I bet.
But took my glove off, and I just noticed that my finger was pointing the wrong direction.
It's not supposed to go that way.
No, not at all. I was just like, oh, that is not good. And so, I just grabbed it real quick and tried to straighten it.
Yeah? Oh, no. Jeez.
A lot of pain.
Yeah, I bet.
Probably the wrong choice to just grab it and twist it like that, but got a little bit straighter, and kind of got on the radio real quick and told the guys I was going to need some help, and I just messed my finger up pretty bad. So Avery came over and a couple of the other guys, and they immediately jumped into talking crap.
Oh, well, yeah, as they should.
Fingers bent. They're like, which way are you pointing? We can't tell. Are you pointing over here, over there? What's going on?
To be expected.
It's just, you don't expect it to be that big of an injury. Like a broken finger, it's a long way from the heart, right?
Yeah.
But when you're riding, even if you try to hold it out, it was still bouncing on my brake reservoir.
Okay.
And it was so painful. And it was just, We decided to go back in, get checked out. We talked to a couple orthopedic surgeons there, and they're like, surgery right off the bat.
Oh, man.
I ended up seeing a total of 3 orthopedic surgeons.
Okay.
And they all immediately said surgery. I kept going back to one in Colorado, Orthopedic Center of the Rockies there, and he kept looking at it and doing x-rays and checking it out, and he's like, your initial x-rays looked like the bone had shifted and it was kind of plateauing in there.
Yeah.
And that needed to be fixed. But it looks like the bone shifted back into position and your joint looks straight. He's like, we know the ramifications of doing surgery. We know what's going to happen if we do surgery as far as range of movement and whatnot. And being a guide, like, I wanted to have that finger as healthy as possible.
Sure.
I spent a lot of time holding on to the bars and grabbing that brake lever. So we just kind of watched it, and it turned out healing as good as it could get.
Really? Okay.
Probably
that was my
just
next question.
Good as if I had surgery. So
okay. Good.
Turned out good. I just took a long time of traveling down to Colorado, getting x-rays,
sure,
getting scans.
The process, yeah.
Yep. So just going through all that.
Glad to hear that it's all better now. Excited to see how it feels. Well, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not quite yet.
Okay. Gotcha.
It was kind of funny. One of the doctors I talked to, he's like, I broke my finger, same way.
Yeah.
He kind of showed me his range of movement, and it's about the same as mine. So
really, be interesting jumping on the sled this season. How it affects you?
Yeah, I still have really good strength. It's just range of motion.
Sure,
so
gotcha.
Not a huge big deal. Hopefully, it doesn't start hurting when it gets cold, but we'll see. It was kind of funny. I'd been putting in a splint, and I was itching to go ride.
Sure.
And we had a couple scenarios with the lodge and just riding clinics. I was like, well, maybe I can just put a really big glove on over a splint and just kind of hold it. I can ride with one hand, and I can still do riding clinics.
Yeah.
And so we had one riding clinic that I wasn't going to miss. Dayton went out and helped me out with that, but got out there, got on the snow, and was still able to kind of share that passion for riding and teach people some essential skills for backcountry.
Sure.
So
nice.
That was really cool to still kind of get out and be a part of it. And then with David being the guy that he is, he's trying to take care of me, and he knows that I'm not guiding and I don't have that income. So he threw me in a groomer.
Nice. There you go. Hey, that works.
Never run a groomer before, and so they tried to teach me up as fast as they could. And so even with the bad, kind of turned into a good thing and got behind the wheel of a groomer and started kind of contributing to that aspect of snowmobiling.
Nice.
And
that's cool.
Gained a big appreciation for the guys that sit in groomers all night long, trying to make those trails smooth.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. No, we need them for sure. Shouts out to them. No, that's cool. So yeah, we are at HayDays right now. Yeah.
HayDays. Yeah.
Appreciate you extending the invite to us to come set up here, man.
I love it.
Awesome.
I'm so glad you guys made it out here.
Yeah.
This is so cool. We're stoked to have you guys.
Yeah.
There's so many good people floating around this place. It really is a big family. We were talking to Ryan at Arctic FX party last night, and Blake. And we just kept talking about how good the snowmobile community is.
Oh, man.
And people are just awesome, and everybody's helping out. Like the extension cord.
Yeah.
Like, I know who I can run to.
Yep.
Ran over, grabbed Tori real quick. Do you have an extension cord?
Yeah.
She's like, heck yeah. Just hooked it up. And it was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody's a big team out here, and there's brands and different companies, but we're all just doing it together.
Here for the same thing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite aspects of snowmobiling in general is the people, obviously, right? Like, whether you meet them on the trail, help you get unstuck. If you ever get stuck, I don't ever get stuck, so I never run into that problem, I guess.
No.
But
not once.
But no, that's it's definitely a thing. The people within the snowmobile industry is just a special breed. I guess I don't know how else to put it. So, but
I think you're just so dependent on your friends, right?
Yep.
I mean, for the longest time, going riding alone has been something that you're like, it's in the back of your head, like, this isn't a good idea.
Yep.
Like, maybe you'll take a quick ride up the trail and you're like, I feel so alone.
Yep.
Like, what if something happens? What if I need a friend?
Yep.
And so, like, it's what we see at the lodge all the time. Groups coming out, 6, 12 guys, like big groups. Usually it's right around 4 to 6, but you need friends.
Yep.
Gotta have some friends.
Yeah. There was a moment back. I was still in high school, I think, and I was riding by myself up at the family cabin, whatever, because I didn't have any other friends that really rode or anything, and I still wanted to ride, so I broke that rule that you're not supposed to break and ride by yourself. And I had one moment where it was kind of getting dark, and I climbed up on a real huge slash pile.
Okay, yeah.
It was huge, and so I was just like kind of putting along and kind of getting close to the edge, and it all collapsed, and the whole sled fell down in all the branches and trees and stuff, and it was dark. I had to get my headlamp out to dig myself out, and it was in that moment where, like, luckily I wasn't hurt or anything. The sled was fine, just collapsed, and I had to sit there for an hour digging out and whatnot. And it was that moment where I was like, yeah, I absolutely should not be doing this by myself. This is scary. Like, what if the light didn't work and it started getting dark? And I mean, there's so many variabilities of what can happen, right? So, but anyways, the importance of having your buddies, and you ride in some pretty gnarly places in Wyoming, and things can get bad real quick if you're not prepared and don't have some friends to help you out.
Yeah, we've got wild terrain in Wyoming because, like leaving out of the lodge, it's trail systems for days. If you're into trail riding, hundreds and hundreds of miles of groomed trails, and there are even more that aren't groomed. So if you're thinking about summertime, I think it's close to 1,000 miles of trails.
Wow, that's a lot.
I think we groom about 300 miles in the winter.
Jeez.
And we've got 3 snow cats leaving out of the lodge grooming. So there's tons of options for every rider. I mean, we're just like meadows. There's some slight inclines. There's burn area. There's hardcore tree riding. There's the steepest terrain you would ever want to be in.
Sure.
We've got stuff that's so steep that really you can't climb out. You can't get enough momentum to climb out of it.
Yikes.
I would really love to see, I would challenge anybody to come out and ride some of those areas and try to get out.
Sure.
It is so gnarly. We've done a couple recoveries in areas that are just like, man, this is nuts. Why'd you go down here?
Yeah.
We've had areas, people walking out, so steep, get back to the lodge. We met the one group. They came in. They had rode 3 up back. So they had dropped down. 2 guys dropped down.
Yeah.
Couldn't get out. One guy was like, I'm not going down there.
Yeah.
No way.
The smart one, huh?
Yeah, and so they had to walk up. And it took them hours to walk out. And then by the time they got back riding 3 up, it was probably 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, boy.
And I was just shooting it with the boys. I had a guide group the next day. And these guys came in. They're just beat to death. And I was like, oh, you guys okay? They're like, no. We got into some real gnarly stuff.
Oh, no.
And they pointed to it on a map. And we're like, yep.
Yeah.
Because you lose about 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet in half a mile, quarter mile.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
So it took us all day to go get their sleds out. And we couldn't get up. We had a early season dump. I think it was like December 3rd.
Okay.
And we had probably 4 to 5 feet of powder.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
That was part of the problem.
Sure.
Just no base. But that was an adventure. That is something I will always remember, is that recovery.
Yeah.
And every time those guys come back, as far as the guide group, they're like, hey, you remember that one time we dropped in?
Reminisce.
Oh, yeah.
I bet they haven't gone back since.
No.
That place?
No, nobody went back to that.
Well, at least they're smart enough to do that, I guess.
I went back. We were kind of flirting with the edge. Like, there's a summertime road that kind of cuts across the top of it. And we're just kind of playing around, and there's some good riding spots around that area, but as soon as you drop over that edge, it's a no-go. You're not coming back.
Gotcha.
And we had another group drop down this last year.
Yeah.
Had to walk out. I think they left 3 sleds down there. And they ended up coming back to the lodge. Similar scenario. Mm-hmm. One guy didn't go down, or 2 guys didn't go down, and so we had to go back, and we got some sleds out of there for them.
Yeah.
That's something that it's actually a lot of fun, doing recoveries.
Sure. Okay.
Because people get into really tight spots, and you're like, okay, so how do we get this out?
Yeah,
Let's
how
problem
do you solve
it.
this? Yep, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of fun in that for sure. It's good. So let's kind of transition a little bit into let's talk a little bit about this sled that we have sitting here. The listeners can't see, but if you go on YouTube, you can probably see it. Tell us. I know we talked about it on the previous podcast, but give us a little bit of rundown about what this sled is, and then we can talk about the new one they have this next upcoming season.
Yeah, so I'm a Polaris ambassador. So this last year I got my hands on a boost. I got a 155 3-inch Matrix / Chaos, and it has been a great sled. I think we were talking about it earlier. I think I've got just over 2,500. It's pushing 3,000 miles.
Oh, really?
Even missing like the last month and half of riding, but yeah, really stack on some miles, and got some good parts in there. Starting to run Bikeman stuff this year. Yeah. A little bit last year, so I ran their clutch kit last year with the sniper weights, and you know, I was really surprised. We popped those weights in, the springs in, and just following their chart, like it was there. Yeah. I didn't have to mess with anything, so that was really exciting. Every now and then you throw an aftermarket setup in, and maybe you got to play with where the weights are at. Yeah. But it runs good, and it definitely helped out with some of that low end, getting that belt pinch where you need it. And this year they hooked me up with their clutch cover and their can, so I'm stoked about that. Might be able to fit a cooker on there now. Heck yeah. Have some burritos on the mountain. Gotta have that. Got some tie bolts from Zollinger's, just helping with that rotating mass. Yep. Bars from RSI, and then that billet kill switch on the throttle block.
Yeah, I noticed that. I like that.
It's nice. I don't like stock kill switches. Sure. It's just too easy to smack it on a branch, and then you don't need to be stuck. Like, there's no reason, but you just caught a branch just the right way, and it shuts your sled off. So that eliminates that problem. Yep. 100%. Zollinger's have the brake reservoir cover on there as well, and then kind of the Chris Brandt footwell, the billet braces coming into the tunnel there, so that's pretty cool. And then I've been riding with Raptor for a long time.
You like those shocks quite a bit? Yeah, do you?
So I've tried a handful of different shocks. I ran Fox for a couple years there, but it just seemed like with elevation and then temperature changes, like if you need to thaw out your sled overnight, take it into the shop, warm shop, and then back out in the cold, it seemed like the pressures were constantly changing. So I just wanted to have something that was always there, always dependable, didn't have to mess with it a bunch. I put so many miles on, it's nice just to hop on and go. Sure. And they are great. That's going to be 3 years on that set of shocks. Okay. So my last sled, 5,000 miles, 6,000 miles. This sled, almost 3,000. Yeah. Got them freshened up last year, but they weren't leaking. There was nothing wrong. I just called them up. I still have these shocks, and they've got like 5,000 miles on them. They're like, are they leaking at all? I'm like, no, they're fine. I'm like, well, it'd still be a good idea to send them in. Get them rebuilt. I was like, okay, cool. Nice. But yeah, they're super plush on the trails. They take an abuse if you're jumping. Yeah. Big whoops, not a problem. You just kind of glide over the top. I usually don't run a sway bar. Okay. So the sled's a little bit tippy, but I like it like that, and I just roll with it. Heck yeah. But got that Arctic FX wrap on there. Heck yeah. I like it. It turned out good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a clean looking sled.
I think I showed Jake and Dayton and David, all Lodge guys, Albany Lodge guys. It's like, hey, I'm thinking about getting this wrap, and they're like, I don't know, right? It looks pretty busy, man. Yeah. But we got it on there, and you know, that's how it goes with wraps. Sometimes you design it, change some colors, and you're like, oh, I hope that looks good on a sled. Right. And we got it on, and I think it really pops.
I think it looks great. Yeah. No, it's clean for sure.
We'll see what we can whip up with Arctic FX for the 9R.
Yeah. The 9R.
I'm dropping
that's the next sled, huh, for this next season?
Got the 9R coming.
Nice.
So same sled, 155 3-inch Chaos / but with a factory big bore.
Oh boy.
Just gonna have a whole garage full of mod sleds.
I mean, wouldn't want it any other way, I guess.
No, it's a good life.
Nice.
It's expensive at times, but
yeah, sure.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Sure.
Gotta have a couple boosts laying around.
Yep.
Couple big bores.
Variety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what if I want to?
The days change.
Put
the
my
snow
fiance
changes.
out on a sled. I don't want her to take the boost, but she could probably handle the 9R.
Yeah. Heck yeah. You got a lineup of aftermarket parts that you're gonna put on that one too, or?
Probably do a lot of the same.
Yeah. As this one right here.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, definitely the shocks. We'll probably throw another Hellfire front end from Raptor on there. Obviously, we're going to have to get some titanium. Got to get some tie from Zollinger's.
Yeah, yeah.
And then have to call Bikeman up for can and clutch cover and clutch kit. And
Heck yeah.
RSI's been going on my sled for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to break that trend and throw that same pair of bars and risers on. And it's been a good setup.
Heck yeah. When are you supposed to get your sled? Because I saw some people already got theirs for snow checks.
I'm patiently
waiting. Do you have
waiting.
any idea when yours is supposed to show up, or?
You know, I'm so busy I haven't even checked.
Got it.
To be honest.
It'll just be at the garage one day.
Yeah, so in the off season I have a trucking company.
Okay.
So I've been just slammed with construction work, doing belly dump work, and I do some flatbedding too.
Got it.
So I was all the way out in Pennsylvania earlier this year, flatbedding.
That's a trek.
Yeah, it was a long trip.
Yeah.
It's a interesting life for sure, going over the road. But it pays the bills for snowmobiling, and that's why I got into it.
As long as diesel's not too high.
Yeah. Thank goodness the diesel isn't too high right now.
Yeah.
It was like $7-8 when I got out to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Kind of crazy. I was in, Cleveland, and crossed over into Pennsylvania, and I hadn't checked fuel prices.
Yeah.
And it jumped like over $1 just crossing the border.
Jeez.
$1.50, and it was like, okay, do I have enough fuel to get back to Ohio? 'Cause I'm not paying these prices.
Right. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But it's a completely
Hopefully it
different
gets
world.
better.
Like, I'm a Wyoming boy, and I got out to Pennsylvania. I was like, this is different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's cool.
I've only been to New York. That's the only place on the east side I've ever been, other than Florida, I guess. But it's down south. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's different over there on the East Coast for sure.
It's I've got this big drop visor on my truck, so I can only see maybe 40% of my windshield.
Got it.
So all those steep hills and trees and everything, it's like you can barely see what's going on above you. Just focused on the road.
Yeah.
You got to stop way back from stoplights.
Yeah.
Because you can't see the light change.
Oh, okay.
It's it's a whole vibe.
Heck yeah.
But what have you been up to?
Man, so I run a couple of different businesses. I've been super busy throughout the summer with real estate.
Yeah.
I got my real estate license in middle of 21. So I'm about almost a year and a half in on it, and it's been pretty busy. That's also paying for snowmobiling too, / all the SledSend stuff and the merch, and then we're gonna try to do some more retreats this year. Okay. And I think that I'd like to maybe talk to you guys about doing that. Have my clients fly out to the lodge with you guys and kind of just essentially like white labeling your services, maybe, if that's an opportunity that we could do. Because we hosted one last year, and it was a ton of fun, and they all wanted to come back. So I definitely want to keep doing it. But yeah, so real estate throughout the summer, and then I've got a rental company where we do like a lot of corporate leasing for companies that need houses for their employees and stuff. Yeah, so between those two things, and then obviously kickstarting into getting ready for all the SledSend stuff to keep me pretty busy, keep me out of trouble.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But yeah, that's about it.
How big are your groups that come out?
So this last one we had 5.
That's
we had
perfect.
5 guys. Yeah. I think we could probably maybe pull off 6, but so we had 5, and then me and Jeff, and then we had another buddy of mine that's been on the podcast as well. Shout out to Kobe. He came and helped us guide as well. And so the demographic or the people that I'm going after is like entrepreneurs and business owners that have never been on a sled before, ever. Like 4 guys flew up from Austin, Texas, and one other guy came from Phoenix, Arizona.
Nice.
And the most snow they'd ever seen in their life, you know, where we were at in Oregon. And so just kind of, I'm not necessarily calling it a clinic, you know, because I've never been to any of the clinics and learned from, you know, Kosterky or Brandt or any of those guys. And so I'm more so just doing like a retreat and providing like an adrenaline rush for those guys, and completely just providing a whole new world for them. You know, they're just focused on business and never been on anything like that. And so I love sharing the experience of snowmobiling and what that's like, grabbing some throttle, riding through the clouds. And so I just want to share that with other people. But I like to go after that demographic because that's kind of more my background with all the different businesses that I own and stuff. So I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners and that whole like business world. And so to be able to provide an experience or a weekend to get away, leave business at home and just experience this thing that we love called snowmobiling. It's pretty cool experience.
Yeah,
So-
that'd be cool to team up on something like that.
Yeah, because we had to like rent an Airbnb, and like Jeff and I were handling the food and stuff, and want to be able to provide like an elite level of service. And looking through your guys' website and stuff, like you guys check all those boxes for sure. So we'll get on some of these questions and stuff on the next episode. But do you guys have like a full blown chef and stuff that's providing all the meals while all your guys' clients are there, or how does that work?
Yeah, we're all inclusive. So at the lodge, we're ride in, ride out. The same highway you come up just turns into the trail.
Got it.
And we start out at 8,300 feet at the lodge.
Oh, heck yeah.
So, yeah, we've got 91 no ethanol fuel consistently.
Got it.
We're the one spot on the mountain that is 100% we're going to have fuel for you.
Got it.
And quality fuel. Along with that, we're part of Polaris Adventures.
Yep.
We're an outfitter for them.
Yep.
So we usually have a fleet around 70 to 80 sleds.
Yeah.
From trail sleds, two-up sleds, to straight-up mountain sleds,
Yeah.
850s, long tracks. And, yeah, it just makes it easy for people to come up. Full restaurant bar.
Yeah.
Hotel rooms, cabins, everything.
Heck yeah.
Full rental shop. If you guys need gear, we got gear. We sell a handful of things as well. Some outerwear from 2B.
Yeah.
Climb. We've got BCA. We're a BCA refill station. So
Okay.
if you got an Avi pack and a
Yep.
cylinder that needs some pressure put into it,
Yeah.
we can hook you up with a cylinder refill. And
Nice. You got it all. Screw
everything.
the clients. I want to just come myself.
we can work that out too.
Heck yeah. Yeah, that'd be sick. I think we might try I have a buddy that I ride with back in Oregon, and I think he wants to go to Jackson this year, which that's usually like towards the end of March, isn't it?
The hill climbs?
Yeah.
Yeah, right about
How
now.
far away is that from Albany Lodge?
We're about 4.5,
Okay, that's not bad.
just depending on roads.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes you got to take a different route to get there.
Yeah,
I-80 is notorious for being closed,
got it.
especially the shortest route for
Yeah.
us. That's why a lot of people come to our neck of the woods, is the roads coming towards Laramie, Wyoming, getting close to the Snowy Range there are usually pretty good.
Yeah,
You don't usually have to worry about a whole lot of road closures. It's just past Laramie going west.
okay.
So
Gotcha. Nice. Yeah, I think we might hit that. And I mean, I'd like to come out before. I don't want to wait till March to get out to Wyoming, but it's definitely on my list for a place to hit for sure. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped for this next season. I think it's going to be pretty epic for everybody.
what are you doing for a sled? You got something new coming?
No, I don't. So I'm still on the same the 21 165 Pro RMK with all the lightweight goodies on it. And so my plan is to sit on that one more season, and then the ultimate goal with all this retreat stuff is to have like a fleet of 6 sleds for myself and for the clients. And so I'm thinking about, so I've got my sled that I'm on now, and then I've got a 2019 800 155 that Jeff rides. And I'm thinking about just moving those 2 sleds into the rental fleet. And then next year, I'd like to snow check a Boost and a 900 and add those to to the fleet. But I'm not quite sure. I've got some phone calls into Polaris. I'd like to get hooked up with their ambassador program and whatnot. So we'll see. But that's I definitely want to get a boost and a 900 for myself, selfishly. But I'm gonna wait till next snow check season, and I'd also like to get a trailer as well. So it's
a lot to haul around, though.
What's that?
It's a lot to haul around.
Yeah, it is.
And then maintain, so keeping parts on hand.
Yeah.
I spent 3 or 4 years in the rental shop at Albany.
Okay.
So I kind of had some experience with the back end of fixing sleds
Sure.
and recovering sleds and and doing that. And if you could, I would say using Polaris Adventures outfitters. I mean, we have a bunch of outfitters in a lot of really key areas.
Yeah.
So especially if you're just looking to fly in clients and go for
not have to haul all my sleds around for that to facilitate. Yeah, no, that's a good idea, and I think honestly the first test run of that should be with you guys at Albany, and just kind of get in the trench and see what that's all about. And I mean, maybe go that route and just keep my own personal sleds and not worry about getting a rental fleet. So yeah, I think it's kind of just about throw some shit against the wall, see what sticks, and see what works best, and it also has to make financial sense too. And that's another thing, if I'm trying to run a business, I also don't want to be stuck in the shop fixing all the stuff that the clients broke, because then obviously that can get super spendy and then take a lot of time as well. So I don't know, we'll see. But that's the idea. So for SledSend as a whole, obviously the podcast and all the social media stuff, and then merch, and then doing the retreats. So that's the direction that we're going to head with it all.
Well,
so
I'll have to talk to you about that. I got a good feeling we could talk you into just using Polaris Adventures outfitters.
Sure.
It'll make a lot of sense business-wise.
Yeah.
It'll make a lot of sense with logistics.
Sure.
And it'll free up time at night to hang out with your clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
And really network the way you want to with them.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. We can definitely talk a lot more in detail off camera for sure. I'm excited about it. So, Jeff, how long are we at right now? We've been ripping 33 minutes. That's a good stint. But so let's wrap this one up, Austin. I appreciate you jumping back on for another episode. Thank you for shooting the shit again with us. And as always, thank you for again inviting us to be here and set up at your shop, at your booth here at HayDays. So yeah, let's wrap this one up. Do you want to? Should we do the question? Do you have remember how we did the question at the end, the SledTalk question?
No, I remember.
Okay, gonna rip one.
Sure. Let's talk about what's your favorite snow show to go to.
Okay. Is
HayDays the big daddy of them all?
Yep.
Or is there another one you like just a little bit more?
Gotcha. That's a good question. Comment below. You know the drill. Whether you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, any of those platforms, comment below with your answer to Austin's question. And yeah, thanks for tuning in to this episode. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Any ending words you'd like to part with?
No, we're gonna rip a lot of these podcasts out. So we're gonna have some really cool people on.
Yeah, I'm excited. In the DMs you were messaging me with quite a few names coming up. Excited. Stay tuned. Make sure you hit that notification button so you get notified of the next episodes. Awesome. Cool. Well, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Austin, again, thank you for being here. Talk to you guys soon. Hey guys, thank you for checking out this episode of Sled Talk. Appreciate you guys tuning in, whether you were on iTunes or Spotify or any of the podcast platforms, or if you were on YouTube or saw this on our Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that good stuff. Appreciate you guys downloading the podcast, subscribing, hitting the notification buttons, all that good stuff, because we have a ton of more podcasts to come. So catch us on the next one. Appreciate you guys tuning in.
No regrets. Designer when I get dressed. Summertime on winter fresh. I put her legs behind her head. Night she gone to bed. Bye. Every day it's a new test. I just keep chasing these chicks.